Hello there. So it's April of 2022 and it's really hot in Delhi right now. Oops, and I see there's a matrimonial detective's phone number in case you need it. So it's 40 degrees Celsius right now and we are at Panchkuian Road and we'll do some exploration. And as we do that exploration, I invite you to join me on this very, very hot Delhi summer day. I think technically it's a spring day, but it feels like summer. And yes, you should join me as we continue the exploration now in the northern part of Connaught Place. On my right, you are seeing the H block, and on my left, you see what's the area between Panchkuian Road and the next road that we plan to explore today, which is called the Chemsford Road. So that's the outer circle of Connaught Place, and this is the H block. All that we see here is roughly around 100 years ago. It was built around 100 years ago to the south of what is older Delhi, and therefore now that we are in the north of Connaught Place, we are actually close to what was supposed to be older Delhi. In fact, as we walk in this area, and you can see on that board, we see Paharganj and New Delhi railway station, both of which are closer to older Delhi. So as we walk in this area and go radially outwards from Connaught Place here, you'll see that we are very, very close to the older parts of Delhi to the north of Connaught Place. So that, of course, is the H block of Connaught Place, and you're right now looking at Connaught Place from Chelmsford Road. And I'm not sure if you noticed, but we have a slightly different view of the outer circle of Connaught Place from this road, because this road is not truly radial, it's slightly slant, and it's slant in a way that it doesn't run through the heart of Paharganj. So I guess my logic of why this road is like that. Nice. It's interesting that we see this street art in this part of Connaught Place, and not like, of course, in the areas which are to the south. But yeah, anyways, I think the reason this road was built as slightly slant and not truly radial is because when New Delhi was being built, the designers did not want to, I guess, demolish a lot of old houses within Paharganj, because that's a very old, very densely populated area. And had this road been truly perpendicular, my educated guess, and when I say perpendicular, I mean like perpendicular to the circle, so truly radial, had it been like that, then a lot of houses within Paharganj would have to be demolished, and that's the reason this road remains slightly slant. And you can look at the Google map, you'll instantly understand what I mean. And what you'll also see on the Google map is that this goes in the true north direction. That's a Hindu temple, of course, and right next to it is a Muslim mosque. Always such a wonderful sight, right? I mean, these days we do struggle to have that conversation and to get together amicably, at least in the political stage. That's what the conversation is. But yeah, history shows us so many examples where we've also been right next to each other and things have been fine. So yeah, maybe we should look back at history. The good parts of history, of course. Anyway, so that is where we've come from, Connaught Place, in that direction, and that's us looking south. But the opposite, of course, as geography works, is north, and we are walking north from Connaught Place through this area, which mostly is dominated by a lot of Indian Railways things. This has been true a little bit for, I would say, Panchkuian Road as well. That's also kind of that area, but even more so for Chelmsford Road. So you'll see a lot of these places along this road. They're either houses of railway officers, or they're railway offices themselves, or they are maybe like places where you'll go get your tickets and raise your complaints with the railways and those sort of things. So a lot of those offices are alongside this road, and of course this road ends into excuse me, the New Delhi railway station, slightly to the north of Connaught Place. So yeah, there we see, this is the railway officers enclave, as I mentioned. So my plan for today, for myself and for you, is that we'll walk on this road for as far as we can until we get close to the New Delhi railway station and we don't feel like walking further anymore. And then I'll try to take a right from somewhere and try to reach what's called the State Entry Road. It's also a road with a lot of history, and I'm sure it would also have these nice trees. Yeah, looks like they burned something there. So that road also has a lot of nice trees, and it's leafy and it's chill and it's nice. But the only problem is I don't see a direct road which connects Chelmsford to the State Entry Road, at least not from where we'll be trying to switch roads. So it'll be interesting to see how me and you figure out how to reach to the State Entry Road. And of course, once we are at the State Entry Road, we'll start walking south and we'll try to get back to Connaught Place, as we always do. And while you may notice that Chelmsford Road is very walkable and very quiet and nice, unlike, I would say, the previous road that we were walking on, which is Panchkuian Road, which was a little too chaotic, right? This one's nice and quiet till now, but being in the north of Connaught Place, this road also connects New Delhi to Old Delhi, and therefore we'll notice that at some point it will start to become chaotic, just because of that connection between the new and the old Delhi. But just when we see that's happening or about to happen, we'll try to take that right, and of course we'll figure out how we can take that right, and we'll go that way to the State Entry Road, which is again a very famous and historical road. We'll talk about it more, but yeah, we'll take the State Entry Road and we'll get back to the comfort of Connaught Place, where we always start and end. Now, while it may seem that I am bashing Old Delhi, that's absolutely not true, because if anything, Old Delhi has a much older, of course, and bigger and more significant history than even New Delhi. Because Old Delhi was actually built in the 1600s by the Mughals. In fact, there was this Mughal emperor called Shah Jahan, and it's on his name. That's an interesting building, right? So this is owned and managed by the Sri Lankan consulate, and it's a place where pilgrims can come and stay. But anyways, yeah, so this was built in the 1600s by Shah Jahan, and on our left we'll have Paharganj, I mean not here but a little further, and on the right we have Chandni Chowk, both of them built by Shah Jahan, and that's why it was called Shah Jahanabad as well. So yeah, if anything, Old Delhi actually has a richer history than even New Delhi. Oh, so interestingly, that's also where the New Delhi Municipal Corporation ends, and I guess the land of Shah Jahan begins. It's really hot in Delhi right now. I think it's close to 40 degrees Celsius, as I mentioned earlier. But anyways, about our walk in the north of Connaught Place, I think it has turned out to be much more interesting than I had thought. Uh, because yeah, to the north of Connaught Place, we've got Shah Jahanabad, and what that effectively means is, as we are walking on this road from Connaught Place via the Chelmsford Road in the north direction, we are walking across hundreds of years of history, like almost literally, because New Delhi was built in the 1900s, and that's New Delhi, Connaught Place, and Shah Jahanabad was built in the 1600s. And just wow, right? I just love that perspective of walking in this area. But anyways, I think let's slowly bring our focus back to New Delhi. So as I told you earlier, I'm trying to go to the other road, which is the State Entry Road, and I hope you're having fun as we walk along Chelmsford Road and try to go to the other road now, which is called the State Entry Road, which has a wonderful history as well, and we'll talk about it very soon. But for now, my concern is to see if there's a gate I can use to go to the other side and reach State Entry Road, which probably will help you and help me get back to Connaught Place. While we have reached the State Entry Road, it wasn't easy. So there was a bit of a problem which you probably did not notice because it's not on camera. So as I was trying to cross from Chelmsford over to the State Entry Road, and as I was trying to record my way from there to here, a few security guards within the complex had a problem, and they stopped me, they checked my camera, and they asked me to delete the footage of crossing over from that road to this one. I mean, I could have argued, but I did not want to, because some of these things are like slightly gray, and even if they're not gray, it's difficult to argue and win with these people who are like in a position of authority. But anyways, we are here now. This is the State Entry Road, and it's a very historical road, as I mentioned, because right over there, I'm not sure if we see the railway line, but that's actually the railway line, and that's the platform number 1 of the New Delhi railway station. And as is true of almost everything in this area, the platform number 1 is also around 100 years old, and it was built in a stately fashion. When I say stately, this was actually a platform which was built for the Viceroy of India at that time. I think it was possibly Chelmsford, but I'll need to double check that. But yeah, the State Entry Road as well as the platform number 1 were built stately in order to make sure that the Viceroy is able to conveniently and comfortably travel via train. And this road that we are walking on right now was actually supposed to be not open to public, which could be partially true today as well, because the road only has one entry from the Connaught Place side, and then I think it ends in a dead end. So that character of the State Entry Road still remains, but yeah, if we go 100 years back, then me as a normal Indian citizen probably would not have been able to walk on this road because it was meant for the state, for the Viceroy to board and deboard the train from platform number 1 of the New Delhi railway station. And as you can clearly see and hear, this road is very quiet usually, because it's not a public road. It's a road that ends in a dead end. So we don't really have a lot of usual traffic or even like people walking by this road, unless people happen to come here with a specific purpose, as I did and as you did, because we've been trying to explore all of these roads that radiate from Connaught Place and that were built around 100 years ago when the Britishers were building this new city within Delhi, which was called New Delhi. And as we've talked about and seen a little bit, New Delhi was built to the south of older Delhi, which was called Shah Jahanabad, and that was a Mughal city within Delhi. But as far as New Delhi goes, I think we've seen most of the areas around Connaught Place. This too, of course, is a very small part of New Delhi, but I think over the last few videos and over the last few weeks, we've done well walking along this outer circle with the traffic and exploring all the roads that radiate out. And this does kind of complete our formal exploration of this outer circle. And did I say formal? I guess let's say our informal exploration of central Delhi, starting from the outer circle of Connaught Place. And I hope you had a good time walking with me.